Hello students. So second part of the poem, an elementary school classroom in a slum, from Flamingo for class 12th. So now we are to start with the second stanza of the poem. I have already told in my previous video that here four stanzas are referring four different things. First stanza talks about the slum children. In the same way, this second stanza is now talking about the classroom condition. Now we have already seen the condition of children. Now we will see the condition of classroom. On sour cream walls, donations. Now here he is trying to say that this is primary school, and normally you might have seen in other primary schools or primary section of your school also that normally these rooms are decorated, because here we have small children, very young minds, and they get attracted to the colorful classrooms. That's why classrooms are normally decorated, so that they feel like sitting in the classroom, they feel like studying in the classroom. But here he says the classrooms are not decorated that way, because everybody knows that this school is meant for slum children only. So that's why nobody is bothered for that. And that's why first of all he says sour cream walls. Sour here means dullness. Dull cream color is there of the walls. Walls will be very bright if this is of bright white color, if not other colors. But here it is creamy color walls. Okay, which shows that the classroom walls are very dull. So here maybe he's trying to point out that nobody bothers about the color scheme of the classroom. And then he says donations. Now he's trying to say that here these classrooms are also decorated. But in what way these classrooms are decorated? Decorated with the things which they get, this school would get in donations. Means whatever thing comes in donation, they just put the things on the walls. Whether these things are meant for these small children or not, whether these children understand those things or not, but even then these things are put on the walls in the name of decorating the classrooms. Shakespeare's head. Now he has given the examples. You may get this short question also. What are the things that are hung on the walls? First of all, which now he is giving the list. So in the list, first thing is Shakespeare's portrait. This is primary school. Senior most class is also class 5, and class 5 students may not be knowing anything about Shakespeare, but still, because Shakespeare's portrait came as donation, so they have hung the portrait of Shakespeare, whether children understand him or not. So this Shakespeare's portrait is hung over there. Cloudless at dawn. Then there is one scenery, beautiful scenery of dawn time. Dawn time is before sunrise. So this kind of scenery is there, where the painter has shown that dawn time, the sky is most of the sky is clear because there are no clouds. So this kind of scenery is hung, and poet feels that this also does not we can say has any meaning for the children, because they hardly bother about the beauty of nature, because they are always worried about their 3 meals. Civilized dome riding all cities. And then he says one more picture is hung in the classroom, that is maybe the picture of big buildings, which is tall buildings, which is a sign of civilization. So he says big building picture is hung over there, okay, which is the sign that now we are, everybody in the world is civilized, or the whole world is now civilized. But again, poet feels that it has no meaning for the slum children, because these slum children, they live in slums only, and they are not allowed to cross the boundary of the slum. Means they are not allowed to enter into the town. They have not even seen the houses, big houses of the town. So how can they understand the tall buildings? So they can't appreciate the beauty of tall buildings or beautiful scenery of dawn time. But even then, these things are hung in the classroom because they have come as donation. Belt, Flary, Tarlis Valley. Then Tarlis Valley is a very, very beautiful valley. So one picture of that valley is hung. Okay, and what is shown in that picture? Actually, in tireless valleys, there are so many kinds of flowers, and maybe one beautiful flower, one of the beautiful flowers is bell-shaped flowers, which are very beautiful. And maybe these flowers are dominating in this picture. Okay, so that picture is there of that valley where the flowers are looking very beautiful, but still poet feels that this beauty has no meaning, no relevance in these children's life because they have seen only dirty slums. Open-handed map. Next thing is hung is word map. Okay, why open-handed map? Because word map is always open to be expanded. Means this map is not a fixed map. Okay, you cannot say that this word map cannot be changed. No, if you are attacking on the other country, okay, on the borders, and you are taking that border area, okay, in your own territory, naturally your country will become bigger and the other country will become smaller. So that way word map will change. So that's why open-handed means this is the word map which changes from time to time. And this word map is hung over there, and the poet feels that again this word map has no meaning for these slum children because these slum children know only their slum. For them, slum is the only word. And what he says, open-handed map, avoiding the word its word. He says, avoiding the word. He says this word map is avoiding a very big, a very beautiful word to these children. These children are slum word children. Okay, so that's why he says that this map which is hung on the wall, okay, this map is talking about the beautiful word, okay, to these children who have their own word. So this is what he says, that this map is awarding, giving a very beautiful word, okay, to these children of slum world. Okay, word its word. And yet for these children, these windows, not this map the word, but he says still, though this word map is talking about the whole beautiful world, this word map is telling that see the world is so big, but still he says for these slum children, their word is only slum word which they see through the window of the classroom, because the school is situated in the slum only, okay, near the slum only. So from the window of the classrooms they can see their slum. So that's why this window is their word. Why the window is the word? Because from the window they see only slums. So he says this word map has no meaning for them because their word, even after studying this word map, even then their word will become or will remain that slum word only which they can see through the window, and their word would never be this word which is hung on the walls. Where all there now he says still their word will remain this window word, okay, not the map word, where all their future is painted with a fog. He says what is a real word for them? That slum word which they see through the windows. What word? Where the future is very foggy. Future is painted with a fog means that there is no clarity about the future. Naturally there is always a clarity for you and for me, what we want to do, okay, or what we want to become in our life, what is our future, what we want, we think about our future. But here he says for slum children there is no future. They live in the present only because their future is very foggy, very unclear, very uncertain future they have. A narrow street sealed in with a lead sky. And he says for them the future is slum only, where the streets are very narrow, that narrow that they can't even stand in the street and look up at the sky. They never get a chance to look up at the beautiful blue sky. For them blue sky is never blue. For them this blue sky is always a lead sky because they live in the dirty places, so they can't appreciate the beauty of any natural thing. Okay, so that's why he says that they have their life in narrow streets, though in the classroom other things are hung which are telling the other side of the story. Okay, far far from rivers, caves and stars of words. He says their life has no certainty, and here he says though we in the classrooms so many things are shown to them through the pictures, but even then the reality is that these people have not seen anything except slums, and they are far, far away from the natural beauty, natural resources which are free of cost given by God to everybody. Still, they are away from the natural water, means potable water is also not maybe reachable. Okay, for them it is not accessible. They hardly get drinkable water. Okay, they get dirty water only to drink. So that's why he says they are far, far away from rivers. Then caves. Caves are open space. They never get open space to play. They have narrow lanes only. So they never play anywhere. They play in the dirty lanes only. And he says naturally, this is the actual life, but classroom pictures show something else. So they are far, far away from rivers or from open land and stars of words. Stars of words means they are never, they never get chance to listen to the great people. Stars of words means those great people whose words are like stars, whose words shine in the world. They never get this kind of chance to be in the company of learned people and learn certain things from them, and so that they can also maybe improve their life. This kind of chance they never get. So this is your second para. So I hope you have understood. So third para we will do in the next video. Thank you.